Welcome to Roll Call. I'm Mike Bonifant.
Mike, I'm still Steve Cronichel. How are you?
Cold, Stephen. I'm cold.
This month of May has not been very nice.
What happened to like April showers, bring May flowers? When I think when they talk about flowers, it should be sunshine, warmth, 70, 75, typical May
I'm
temperatures.
getting mold on me. It's raining so much.
It's just not fun. At this point, I take a warm rain. Give me some
on top of
temperature.
that, it's been raw and
Yeah.
not very nice.
I'm not enjoying it at all.
Last
I
week, every
wish-
weekend in the May has rained. I'll be cold, lousy, and rotten.
Yeah.
And the weekend come next.
Yeah. Yeah.
The forecast isn't much better.
It's not like, where you get kind of crappy weekends and really nice weeks. We don't
Yeah.
get anything nice.
Nothing.
It's just been like
No.
rainy and cloudy.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's just,
I'm kind of done with it, Steve. If you could fix that for me.
I'll make a note of that, Mike, when I get done, because I got connections.
I appreciate it.
I got
Just,
connections.
Just something, not too crazy hot, just
No, just nice.
74, maybe
the sun
sunny.
out?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, just
I'd
not
be
rain for like
happy
3 or
with
4
that.
days. Again, it's New England, right? Last year at this time, they were hooting and hollering about a drought. Now we got way too much water. Right?
Well, they'll say, well, there wasn't a lot of snow this winter.
No, we had a lot of rain
So we
after,
need the rain, yeah.
But we got it. So
The
now we
lawn-
got enough of it.
how's your lawn looking?
Yeah, wet. You
Yeah,
can't tell it's wet.
and you know what
muddy.
happens? You get all that rain, and then the sun finally comes up. Yeah, and the grass goes from like here to like here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, wow, where'd the house go?
That'd be a good problem to have, though.
Well, yeah, I'll take it. I'll cut the grass. I'm good with that.
I agree.
Yeah, just please bring me sunshine. All right, Stephen, there's a lot of work going on around the city.
Yes, there is.
A ton.
Be patient. This is what happens when you live in a 200-year-old city, 250-year-old city. The infrastructure, that big word,
Wow.
it's slowly falling apart. So finally, the city, and however all the magic, some of the sewer pipes and water pipes were put in the turn of last century. They're 120, 130 years old, and they really haven't been maintained since. So now they finally, some of the gas pipes, now this is gas for the turn of the century. They done them 1900, now again, last century, not this century.
I'm hoping those are the low pressure lines.
Low pressure lines,
Yeah.
they've still got some low pressure lines that are still being serviced in the city. Remember the old days when Thanksgiving you had to put your oven on early because everybody's cooking and that your oven wouldn't work? You don't remember that, do you? Well, some people do. But so that they're getting rid of all those lines, that's all. But of course it goes right through the middle of the city, so it's just a lot of
You
work.
told me when you were younger that Thanksgiving, like your family and like the Indians used to meet and something. And
That
that's
Mayflower
how-
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
that's
driving.
what that. Yeah.
They
That's
let me
when
drive the boat.
That's all started. Yeah.
Oh boy, you're lucky
That-
we're
that's
on,
how-
even though it's cable, you'd be getting a wave. But yeah,
But
there's going to be,
anyway.
and it's just going to get worse, because now they got County Street is a new water line, they got new intersections being redesigned, Broadway, because I got to give them credit, they're doing it right, they put new water, gas, sewer lines, then I guess before the season's over, they're going to pave Broadway from the city up past Roseland, up
I was
that
going
way.
to say, oh yeah, a long way up there. But and it's getting all services in the meantime, right?
All new, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll probably forget one and dig it up, I guess.
Well, that's par for the
it is
course in
time.
the city, but that's
Yeah.
beside the point. They're doing a lot of night work too, so it's not like you can escape the detour during the just in the day. So because they're working like 7 to something during the day, and then they start up again at 7 o'clock at night.
Right.
And
So
go
here's
at
a
it
tip.
right all over again.
If you go that way and there's a detour, it's probably going to be there for the next 2 or 3 months. Find a different route.
Yeah.
Uh,
County Street, same thing. All kinds of work going up
Yes.
County Street, night work, Hodgeville Corners, which you just talked about, the intersection's going. Lights are going at Gordon Owen and William Street.
Yes.
That's all new. There's still work further up County Street, up closer to
So
the
if you live up
24
like
overpass.
live near like BJ's, and you got to get like to the mall instead of going through the city, maybe you should take the highway.
Yeah, it'd
You know,
probably
loop,
be faster.
loop it
really.
around, yeah. Or go the other way and go like Birch Street and come in through North Dayton or something like that, because it's just it's gonna take you 20 minutes, half hour either way, and I'd rather be moving for the half hour than sitting and saying
Yes.
bad words.
Yes, there's other beautiful parts of the city you can drive by and
Do
see.
a little exploring.
Stuff you don't see on a
Hey,
normal
the
basis.
weirdest part about a car today, you can turn the wheel left and right. So
Wow.
you can make turns and go all over and see the city. Some people can't do that.
Oh, no,
'cause
no,
they
I
go,
have to go this way, yes.
How come? Because that's the only way I know.
Yes.
How long you lived here? 40 years.
Yeah, there's people literally don't know how to get around their block almost. Yeah,
Yes.
go a different way.
Yes.
Sad. But a lot of capital improvements. And
Yeah.
speaking of capital improvements,
Michael knows my Achilles heel.
yes. I heard that there was a thing, just a story last week in the paper, or a few days ago, about the City Hall. They're going to put City Hall back up and running to the tune of like $20 or $25 million. It's been I guess a bone of contention over there at the council chambers. You know, everyone's pushing for City Hall. You know, I don't know where that leaves us. We're in the little annex next to City Hall, but
I just thought of this, Mike. And again, I'm not picking on any politician because it's like us. You know, they inherited. Some have been there, some haven't, but they inherited this problem. It's like us. You know, the policemen. We get painted with a broad brush, but they don't like being in a temporary place, do they?
Uh-oh. No, I guess not.
All right,
No, they need to be back where they're.
How about we, Michael and I, as the police department, we've been in a temporary place since Lyndon Johnson was president. The city of Taunton was incorporated. It was a town in 1600, became a city in the 1700s, right?
Yes.
Late 1700s.
Yeah.
So we've been a city since the late 1700s. We've had one police station that was built, designed from the ground up as a police station in the whole history of the city. That was built, and I feel like, you know, rest in peace, Charlie Crowley. That was built in around 1900, and when Lyndon Johnson was president for urban renewal, it got torn down, and what they built there is, let me think, oh yeah, nothing. It's still an empty parking lot.
Yes, yeah.
It's still
Sure,
where
there
it
was
used
a
to be.
plan for it at some point.
It
but
was,
yes.
and so it's gone. All that area, High Street, and all that got redone over. So our only permanent, and that was too small, anyways. It's gone. So we went to the Armory, temporary for, I don't know, 25, 30 years. And now we're at the old First National. We've been there close to 20 years,
There's
right?
people watching this that are going, where was the Armory? First National, what?
Yeah.
Who
Well,
was that?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the urban renewal either.
Yeah.
But Court Street, up Washington Street where the old mall is, that was all shops. Lorenzo's had a store there. That was all shops, hardware stores, barber shops. There was some seedy bars along the top there that you know was not a place to walk the beat, I guess, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
In the 60s, that all there was money for, I guess, I don't know how, I was a kid. And they tore that all down. That's where they built the mall. They tore the police station down. Tomlin Insurance is there. I think their drive-up is where the police station used to
It
be.
is actually their parking lot
Yeah.
and the drive-up.
That was
where
the old
station
police
is.
station.
Yeah.
But that was the only permanent police station we ever had. I've been on a police department a whole long time. I thought for sure when I came on that I would retire out of a new building. I don't think all the new guys we
No.
just hired are going to retire out of a new building.
Well, there's no plan for it. There's no plan because, I mean, obviously you can't do a $20, $25 million City Hall project and then say, oh, you know what, we're going to dump another $20 into a police station because really, the towns around us, Dayton just voted to do their police station and it's going to be like $6 or $8 million. Middleborough, again, another town, is just doing theirs over. It went to bid, and I think they have a contractor now, and that's like $8 million. We definitely need space much bigger than what they have. So
We need, as a police department, we need a bigger building for the troops for the everyday stuff. I'm talking all the police cars, our cars, you know, the officers that work there, secured parking for them, parking for the cruisers, parking for the public when they come in and do business. We need rooms for interviews, and we need stuff. Also, we have stuff that you don't buy all the time, but if you keep it in the garage, you can get a 20-year life. Like some of the trucks, we have we call it R1, it's a 1-ton, it's really nothing but like a plumber's truck, a utility truck. You don't buy them every day, but it's very handy. It tows our boats, it tows the trailer. When they go to the range, it's got secured stuff on the side. They put the bullets in there when they go from the station, you know, they load, unload every day, but still it's you need it. Again, it's not an everyday budget.
Correct.
But if you could keep that out of the weather, you could get a 20-year service out of this.
Oh, easily.
You know, our dive equipment is in a trailer. If you could put that inside, our sign trailers, our barricades, there's a lot of, I didn't ever
The
realize.
motorcycles, the ATVs, the
boats.
boats. It goes on and on, the prisoner transport vehicle, all that stuff.
Any of those things are not in a regular budget, and then once you get it, you can get a good life out of it if the community service van, the big 12-passenger van. You can get a long lifespan out of it if you have a nice garage for it, you know, a bat cave, what we used to call it.
Yeah, where you can take care of it.
Yeah, just the routine, you know, we as policemen can wipe it down and clean it.
I mean, I'll never see it, won't be here long enough, but just a nice new station would be nice.
Yes, and the other thing is, and then when we do
permanent,
it,
something meant to be a police station.
please don't go to Rainham, Berkeley, or Dayton. They're fine towns, and we get along great with them. And we do for a city with the small towns, we have a great relationship. I think we get more than we give them. But in the same token, they've got a 10-man or a 20-man department. Rainham's got 20 or 30 guys.
Yeah.
We got over 125 plus. We answer about 1,000 calls a week, give or take a couple either way. We just have different needs. Go to Brockton, go to Fall River, see how they do it. You know,
Yeah, they're the biggest cities.
Yeah, and you know, whatever it
New
is, build it
Bedfords.
a little bigger because the city's doing nothing but growing.
Grown a lot since we been on the job.
Mike, even since we've been on now, we have a technical guy full-time all the time. That wasn't there when we started. Yuli, right?
Yeah,
The computer guy.
the computer.
Because that's just the way it's going. Now, if this body camera thing comes in, all that stuff sounds good, but it's expensive. It has to be maintained, and you need the room. So you're not putting somebody in a basement in a corner because that's all we got left.
Yeah.
We have Jen. She does a lot of stats and social media stuff like that. She needs an office. You have stuff because it's just getting bigger with more stuff. I've been on it again a long time. Do you remember Parker Golf Course?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was private. And all of a sudden they're going to sell it in the city, come up with $1 million like that.
It's a good investment.
I guess. I don't play golf, so I'm a little jaded. I don't really care either way. But okay, the city bought it. I guess it's doing okay. That's fine. But
Well, there's been a ton of places that have gone. The old mall, Mill River Place, downtown, at one point was available to the city. Where the George Building is on Spring and Summer Street, at one point that lot, when it was A&P, going back a couple of years, was available to the city that, they could have had these locations. Even where they're building the new National Guard Armory out there on County Street.
Gee, Mike,
beautiful
that was
spot.
right out of the center.
Yep.
Plenty of parking in the front and back. It was 14 to 16 acres.
where
We could have had a nice building up front.
School was originally.
Had a nice building up front, nice garage in the back for our stuff, storage building.
Yeah.
Easy access. Yeah. So we've had, 6, 8, 10 schools been built since we've been on the job? They rehabbed the high school, which wasn't that old to begin with, right? The high school was only 35, 40 years
25
old.
years old, maybe.
Was that old? Yeah, 25, 30, and they had to spend
when they started.
They had to spend $100 and some odd million to
Well,
fix the heat
it
that
opened
never
in
worked right.
75. When did they start the work?
Oh yeah, you know what? It was only 25, 30 years old, like
Yeah.
2005 or something.
Which is really, when you think about that, man, the old schools, Hopewell School is well over 100 years old, and say what they want with it, I still think that's a decent school. They built them right then.
They did, and we're very proud that we have the oldest working fire station in the city. Now listen, I'm big on keeping the history. I kind of wish they had preserved a little more up the industrial park when it was the Army camp. But you got to know where that belongs. If they had taken that fire station, our central fire station, and made it into offices or some kind of useful thing like that, all well and good. But you got a place that was built after the Civil War that's still on the front lines of rescue safety. And we're happy with that. So if we went back to the horse and buggy day, so when the firemen came out, they had to hook the horses up, get the steam boiler going so they could have water, we'd all be happy? Those fire trucks cannot go out of there without going to somebody else's property.
It's a problem.
Okay. They don't have
Definitely a
enough room to
problem.
park. The employee, the guys, when they go to work, they don't have room to park their cars on their property.
Well, welcome to our world. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And we as a city are proud of that. No, like I said, I'm proud of the history. I'm proud the building's still good. And I'm sure the building has a use, but not as a front line fire station. It's crazy.
Yeah, but just think, you'll be able to go pay your tax bill at City Hall. It'll be nice and new and fresh. You'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my father was a fireman a long, long time ago, so I'll be able to take my grandson to the fire station that his great-grandfather worked at, and the only thing different is when he was on, there used to be a coal furnace, and now it's oil. Other than that, the
see.
building's the same.
Still the same wood floors. Looking good.
Same poles,
Looking
same
good.
everything. So, I mean, I'm not blaming any politician in general, maybe from the state on down, the governor on down, I don't know, but you're telling me there's no kind of, we're the only city that has this issue? There's no grant money, there's no way to get
We're not the priority, my friend. We're
evidently
the
not.
priority.
I'm sure that that communication building will get built, which is fine, a joint communication, but it's they got to look at the infrastructure. We need a new fire station and a police station. There's no question about it. That it just gets me.
Yep.
All the schools that are built, we get. We're gonna get to you.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you this temporary building. Hey,
Someday.
listen, because we know that you're only gonna be here for 7 years, so we're gonna put this addition on. We're only gonna build it to last 7 years. Well, 10 years into it, they have to come back and redesign it because it's fallen. The doors won't
And-
close.
And now it's been there
And the
17 years.
It's
yeah, in use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went there, 2000, right?
Yep, 2000.
2000, so it's a good way to remember.
17 years.
This
yeah.
is the next temporary, so,
I can't wait to see where the next temporary one is.
and it's coming, I'll tell you why, because rumor has it, as they do the new city hall, our building's got a lot of offices that's gonna kind of get incorporated in the design, I guess. That's a rumor.
So we'll probably end up over there on Oak Street. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, because I never got out of school.
Well,
so I
the
went to
good thing
grammar
is they
school.
don't have to change the whole sign. They can from temporary city hall to temporary police. See?
You know, Mike,
Perfect.
don't give him any ideas.
Perfect. I'm taking care of you here, Stephen.
It's
You
just-
and I will be gone soon.
It is. It's just some things that, you know, like I said, I'm all for the old, I'm all for preserving history. I know a lot about the Army camp. I find it fascinating and stuff, the old Devon stuff. But it's got its place.
I know. All right, speaking of places, I got to get back to mine. Sorry. I got Steve fired up. I knew I was going to, but we're not going to get to these stories, and I don't want to miss this one. This was kind of important. We had a bit of a major incident in the city, happened over at Egan's Package Store on April 26th. In the evening hours, two young gentlemen came in and were going to rob the place. One of them had a weapon, pointed it at the clerk, who was the female owner. She decided she really wasn't too happy with being robbed. Got into a little bit of an altercation with him where she reached for the gun. At some point, the gun was fired at her. She was struck on the left side, and she had some serious damage to her thumb as well. I don't know if she was going to end up losing that or not. So obviously all the troops came out. The patrol guys were in the area quickly. Detectives were called in. A lot of work was done. The woman was transported over to Rhode Island Hospital, where she's been, treated over there, and it appears she is going to be okay, even though she's seriously, injured. I mean, she's not going to be like fine walking around okay right now. But in the wee hours of the morning, now these guys, this started at like 8:30 at night. These guys worked through the night. The detectives working on that. They get a call, an anonymous call that names two people as people that were involved in this. So, you know what? They follow up every lead, so they decide they start looking into these two. They kind of fit the general height description and size of what they saw in the video. They go do a knock and talk at one of the houses, end up talking to one of the kids. There's some items found in the house that are seen in the video. He says that he was in the store and implicates someone else. Long story short, a 17-year-old juvenile and an 18-year-old named Billy Morris were taken into custody. They were brought to the station where they were charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, a shotgun, assault to murder, armed robbery while masked, possession of a loaded shotgun, discharge of firearm within 500 feet of a dwelling, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery. That was the juvenile's charges. The 18-year-old, Billy Morris, was charged with assault, battery with a dangerous weapon, a shotgun, assault to murder, and armed robbery while masked. Clothing from this case was later found the next day based on, they used surveillance from around the city, saw kind of where the two had run, followed that, ended up with some clothing that was seen in the video from the store. Just a horrible thing, but some really good hard work done by the guys in the department, and we give our hats off to them.
All technology, you still got to have that shoe law. They still got to, walk around.
Absolutely, and follow leads. I mean, someone calls, and a lot of times it's like, what's their incentive for calling us and giving us those names, and
Now,
it
Mike,
works out.
The 17-year-old, because a couple years ago, 17 was an adult. Now they changed it. He's a juvenile. But he will be, tried as juvenile and sentenced as an adult?
It's kind of like the Hopewell Park thing. That whole shooting from a couple of years ago at Hopewell Park, that was a juvenile as well. But it was tried in juvenile court. It was all handled in juvenile court. But he was given an adult sentence. So it's not like, when he turns 21, okay, out the door you
Like it
go.
used to be.
He's still held beyond that the sentence, it used to be if you were a juvenile offender, once you hit 21.
So if he
like that was it.
will he be sentenced, under the adult guidelines or the juvenile guidelines for that?
I think they argue that you get sentenced under the adult guidelines. So you get adjudicated as an adult offender. It's kind of an odd thing, and the DA makes that decision when they go forward. So it's not
Got the 32nd finger.
really.
Yeah.
Already.
Somebody was yakking too much.
Well, that was you. Well, we have one more thing I need to talk about. One of our better friends actually retired from the department this week. Sean Mulhern, who was a detective with us for years.
A lot of years.
The three of us worked in community policing together. He put in his 32 years and has
Got the golden
said,
ticket and head out the door.
I'm good. And he did a lot of hard work here, worked up several of the murder cases here successfully
Yep.
as well. And we will truly miss well, we won't miss our friend because we're still going to get to see him. But we'll
Yes.
miss him at
We
work.
can't get rid of him, but yeah, we won't see him at work.
Yeah, so we want to wish him the best and happy retirement.
Absolutely. Good luck, Sean. Good luck, Carolyn. That's his wife.
Yes, yes. Yeah. She's got a whole nother job ahead of her now. But, all right, well, that's it. Steve has ranted for
tired
the
now, now I
majority
need
of
a
the
nap.
show, and I'm going to, I still got to make him a call to give me some sunshine. So, thanks for watching, folks.
Thank you.